parents are very strict. Where are you going with those skates? Wear your helmet. Are you doing that too? Are you jumping on those banisters?
Hi.
Hey Josh, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Nighttime again.
I know, another nighttime one. We're getting quite good at them though.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I didn't think we'd be up to number 4.
Yeah, fourth
this
guest.
soon.
Yeah.
I thought we'd be like maybe have 2 or 3 done, but we're good at it. We're getting better.
You're definitely racing through it, and the feedback's been awesome so far.
Yeah, what's our highest view yet? Was it Nui's one?
I could check actually.
I think it was like last time I checked, it was like 100 and something.
Let me have a look. Hold on. Very antiquated way of looking. Actually, our introduction was the best one. We've had 251 views, which is
the introduction.
Yeah. And then Jargo was 229. Oh no, Ben was 303. Which is
I'm just glad the introduction was the highest, and that was just us. So that just means that we're the most interesting thing on the whole show. Yeah.
And look, we only thought we were going to have 30, so
yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah, breaking records.
Yeah.
Okay. Slug Lord.
Yeah. Well, I got chatting to Isaac about Slug Lord because they've obviously travelled together, and he had a really interesting thing to say about Slug Lord. He kind of said that Ryan reminded him like of a Josh Petty type figure who's quite kind of influential and has quite a cool vibe and aura around him that makes people just want to skate with him and hang out with him and be around him. So Isaac was saying he's one of his favourite dudes to tour with because he's just got the super high energy and super buzz, and he's just so stoked on skating and skates everything, which is really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about where he's come from and how he's came about.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because the last 3 have been like well in the old school, really.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the first time. This is actually the most that I probably will have ever talked to someone from like current generation of skaters too.
Yeah.
Like I actually don't know. Like I've only really just started watching some of his vids, which is quite cool. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Well, should we bring him in?
Mm-hmm.
Join in. Look at us, we've got mugs.
Yeah. Cup of tea.
Here he is.
My screen's going to do that thing where it like jumps to the person who's talking.
Yeah.
It's
You've
a real
come
thing.
up clear though.
Yeah.
Just waiting for Ryan to connect his video and audio.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, just can't see you just yet.
Okay, sweet. How do I do that?
It's coming up with your video. Oh, there we go. There he is. Nice.
What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah,
Hey,
good.
bro.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
I can only see when you talk, so it might be kind of weird, but anyway.
Oh, yeah, sweet. That's all good.
Sweet.
My headphones aren't working, but I can hear you guys sweet. Can you hear me all good?
Yeah, I'll just turn the volume up post-production.
Yeah, cool. Man.
So yeah, no, I've only ever met you once, so good to see you again. I've seen you heaps on Instagram.
Yeah. I think I might have met you at the OG meet and at Ben's wedding. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot about Ben's wedding.
I remember your speech and pointing out that you were the rollerbladers.
That's where I remember you from. I remember you from Ben's wedding, but I didn't know you then either.
Yeah, no, so yeah, because I was going to say, I can't remember if I met you or not. So it might have been either then, but then everyone's liquored up and wasted. So it's like, oh, I can't remember.
We get anyway. Yeah.
I remember the first time I met you was across the road from Victoria Park. And I just remember you guys pulling up in a car. And I think it was you, Gibby, and Kiri. And you guys came out of this car and this big cloud of smoke came out behind you.
Yeah, man.
It was
Yeah.
an interesting introduction.
Well, typical of those boys.
Yeah.
I'm trying so.
So we're going to hit some pretty hard-hitting questions. The first one is, where did the name Slug Lord come from?
Oh, yeah, sick.
You probably knew that was going to be the first question, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know about first, but I figured that I seen in the description too that you put in the video saying we'll find it out or something like that.
Yeah. It's definitely the most asked question. I've had about 4 people comment saying, where did Slug Lord come from?
Yeah, even my wife wants to know. She's like, you're interviewing who?
Yeah, it's very, cool. Yeah, people don't even know my real name sometimes. It's crack up it. It pretty much, there's, so like at first, it kind of stems from like, obviously the measle grind.
Yeah.
Like, how it kind of look kind of average as a trick. I used to do them like real low and like hella spread out and steezed out. And I used to love doing them slow and like for ages and like real low. And then like it kind of looked, someone like mentioned like, oh, it kind of looks like a slug. I can't remember who. And so I was like, oh yeah, mean like, but I used to have a nickname before that, which was Roach, that got given to me by Jamie Nicholson, but it didn't really stick that much. And then I think with the whole like slug thing, like I remember like kind of getting called Slug. And then all of a sudden one day I just remember like Googling like what would be cool to go with slug that you could get like tattooed on your knuckles. And this was and I was only like 19, 20, so I didn't have these then, and I just remember like straight away typing in 4 letter words that would like go with that. And then I think in the list, like the third down just said Lord, and I was like, Slug Lord. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then from Dragon Ball Z, there's a character called Lord Slug, who kind of looks like Piccolo. And I was just like, oh, yeah, Slug Lord. And then like that was kind of in the back of my head for a little while. And then I think some of the boys caught on and started to call me that every now and then. And then when I used to do like a creative tech course where, like do art and like part of it was to like create a brand and like a logo and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I kind of already have Slug Lord. Maybe I should just run with that. And then I made like, went home and jumped into Photoshop and straight up I like came up with the logo and the thing in that in like 5 minutes. So like just and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. And then like used that and then showed that to the teacher and she liked it. And then all of a sudden I just like made stickers and then I started to like, print it onto hoodies. And then I like, when like hashtags became a thing, I started to use like the hashtag for like YouTube and stuff. Yeah, and then once Instagram, I started to use that. I was just like, oh, well, I'll use Slug Lord. And someone had already taken Slug Lord because it's a band, but they're like real low key. And so obviously, 424 is like all the Artur boys.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we'll put 424 at the end. And then, Slug Lord. And then
That's
I get.
so cool.
Yeah, and I think just because, like of the engagement or how much that I like make content or whatever, I would always tag it or blah, 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 make the stickers, put them out everywhere. Yeah, it just kind of caught on, I guess.
It kind of
That's
makes
not
sense.
the explanation I expected.
No, and it kind of makes sense that you're talking about branding.
It came from the most boring trick ever invented.
Yeah, I know, but I love doing measles, bro. Like, it's such a cool trick. If you can make them look cool.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to keep your arms up and like steeze it out. That's how But I mean, that's not like a trick I'd go and do and be like, you mean it's a measle? But
yeah. You do them backwards, it's better, but that's cool.
Yeah,
and like the doom metal band, I was actually going to ask you, like, have you listened to Slug Lord? But
Yeah, well, I mean, no, I didn't actually. I haven't even listened to any of the music, but I imagine they'd sound pretty good. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
if you're gonna be a slug, you might as well be the lord of the slugs. So
That's it.
that's cool.
Yeah. It's a cool. Yeah. I love it. It's so funny how people are like really know my name.
It makes sense though that you created it into a brand, because I just remember the tiles and some of your edits, you'd have Slug Lord pop up and it would punch all over the screen and then map out. And
So because when I started to do YouTube, I would just have the logo there.
yeah.
All of a sudden, this like videographer, digital artist guy just like messaged me. I can't remember his name. He's the man. I wish I could shout him out. And he's like, "Oh, hey, send me, a picture of something in a song, like a video, like a soundbite that you like." I was like, "Yeah, sweet." And so I sent him this like gunshot from like a Chief Keef song, I'm pretty sure. And then and he just like made the whole like the whole like tiled in, and then I started to just like put that in, and I'd shout him out, in the like credits and stuff for doing it. That was like that's one of my favorite intro things that I have.
Yeah, it's pretty iconic. As soon as I hear the name Slug Lord or you come up in conversation, that sound and that pops into my head.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, I really like Uzis and stuff like that too. So that's so cool for all the like gunshots like that. Yeah.
So, when did you start skating? How did that happen?
So like in terms of like aggressive skating, I started on October 16th, 2004, 2 days after my birthday. I still have the receipt for my skates. That's why I remember that shit. I got my skates from Cheap Skates in Wellington too. But being like a 90s kid, I used to like ride rollerblades in my street, like in the cul-de-sac, playing with kids who had like bikes, skateboards, BMXs and all that stuff. And then like I would just like, my favorite thing to do was I would just bomb into like the gnarliest driveways in my street. I remember my friends' parents would freak out that I was doing that because, like the only way to really stop was to stop to the gutter or like jump up onto it and land in the grass or something.
Yeah.
I would always borrow people's skates because I didn't really have any at a certain point. So their parents would get kind of annoyed because I'd wreck them.
Yeah.
But like,
you're just zooming around and stuff.
Yeah. Like they were like, solid black with like yellow ass wheels and yellow ass laces. The first pair I ever kind of remember getting, and I blew the wheels out fast as. But I also used to love doing like mute grabs off like the gutters that kind of just go up like that.
Yep.
But I didn't know that I was doing a mute grab. I would just like grab my legs and be like, oh, and like stoke all the kids out on my street and shit.
You can do jumps. You can do jumps, man.
Like I couldn't even go backwards. But we also used to have like at my primary school, we had like a wheels day. I think it was called Wheels Day. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it would be like the last Friday of every term of school, and they would
bring
have
your skateboard or your bike or whatever.
Yeah. And then so I remember like seeing rollerblading then as well, and I think I might have had some then. I don't really remember. So I have to think back that far, but yeah. But in terms of aggressive, 2004 October 16th. Yeah,
That's so rad. You remember the date?
And they were TRS Access, the black one. Yeah. Because I remember like, what got me, because they had the black ones, the details, those white ones, and then there's a stilo or style or something, the grey ones.
Oh, they're the ones with the skin over the top with the Velcro. Yeah.
So
and if you Broscow, you skate them open.
That's it. Yeah. Those were cool, man. I still love those skates. I wish I could get a pair. Like I read them to death. Like they started to go like a yuck brown color and shit like that.
Yeah.
Faded out hard. And then I stenciled like KFC onto the back of them because I was so like into that shit.
Back when it was cool to draw on your skates, eh?
Yeah, and people used to think like, you like KFC that hard? I'm like, does it mean that?
Yeah. And whereabouts did you? Are you from Wainui Martis?
Yeah, somewhere. 14. Yeah, I love that place. Wainui. So like it's like Wellington, then Lower Hutt, and then it's like a little part outside of that. It's real like nice now, but growing up it was way rougher. than it is now. But yeah, Wainoa, yeah. It's
So how old are you? When were you born?
I'm level 32 at the moment. So I'm
Right.
89, like on October, so tail end of 89.
Yeah.
So you started grinding stuff when you were like 15, 16.
Yes, I was a late bloomer to like being able to do all that shit. Like if because I loved rollerblading as a kid, I reckon if I got a hold of something that could grind earlier, I'd be doing it earlier. But
Yeah.
one of my best friends, Clark. Oh yeah. So like if I'll go back a little bit. On television, one time I was just watching it as a kid with my mum, like I think it was like Prime something like news, and all of a sudden they were interviewing these people in Europe about skate parks, and I didn't know what they really were, and all of a sudden this dude just like did the grind on the ledge, and I'm pretty sure it was like a back royale, and I was just like, holy shit, you can grind the rollerblades, and they always stuck in my head because I like rollerblades. And then like when I was 14, just before turning 15, my mate Clark comes out of high school at the front gate. He's holding these two blue, like what are they, Solomon STIs or something like that?
Yeah.
The ones,
ST9s or something, eh?
Yeah.
like the white frames like kind of stuck to the boot, but you can still kind of detach it, but as one whole plates. He just like held them up and he's like, look what I got, bro. And I was like, holy shit, there's a little bit of grind on, eh? And he's just like, yeah, man. And then, I went to high school with him. We went to high school like when it had closed, went down to there, and he was like, I'm gonna do like 360s off the 4 stairs and stuff. And I was like, that's crazy. And then like there's a little rail there, and I was just like, go on the rail. And he's like, no, bro, it's scary. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. Yeah, and I can't remember how I found out how Cheapskates had them, but I think I would have just thought like, oh, go there. And then, I sold my BMX bike to get a bit of extra money after my birthday as well. And then, boom, went in, because I used to BMX before I got into bleeding like aggressive. And then sold my bike and then got blades and never looked back. And I remember thinking like, I'll grind a rail straight away when I get on these. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit, this is hard. Like,
Yeah.
I spent like $500 on these. I better get good at it.
So what did you start doing like when you got your first decent pair? Were you at like the local park, or were you?
So because we had a skate park, but for some reason I always knew, I was like, I don't want to be that kid or that guy that goes to the skate park who can't ride them and gets in everyone's way. Like I already just knew, I was like, I'm going to secretly we had this like abandoned school where we used to go play it after whatever, like, I don't know, kick balls around or like, break doors and shit. I don't know. Because I was like abandoned and I was like, oh, I'll just go there and start like learning how to ride them. And then that progressed into like someone had smashed the door off one of the doors, and I put it like there used to be like a big slab there, and I put it like on an angle. And I remember like skating up, jumping on it, and then doing a 180 and landing on the slab and being like, holy shit, I 180. And then it progressed to doing that, to spinning 360s. And then I would start going like off the slab onto the concrete. And then I remember like, learning that, like how to 180, 360, and to just like ride them. And then all of a sudden someone had knocked over like a flagpole. And I remember putting it on like a milk crate or a bread crate. And like probably like this long of it that was like hanging off, and I like jumped up and like managed to 50-50 it. But like it would have been like to like kiss her out. And like I was just like, holy shit, I did a grind. Like, and then I was like, I'm ready for the skate park now.
So are you by yourself doing the secret training at the school?
Kind of like, well, I'd go with like some of my friends, but I was like the only rollerblader. All the rest of them would be playing like touch or like chasing each other, just like whatever we would do, like, I don't know, play like go home, stay home and things like that. But eventually me doing it led to like a few of my mates getting some skates as well. And then they would kind of do the same with me for a little while. And then we all progressed to like the park. the ghetto ass Wainui Park.
How rad is it that you had skate park etiquette before you'd even been to the skate park, though?
Yeah.
I trip out because, like, you know how obviously when you go to a park these days and there's just like all these kids, well, parents just dump their kids there like it's a what do you call it, like a daycare.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why their kids get hurt, you know. And it's like, well, you know, you wouldn't have your kid go play in All Black, but you put them in a facility that's for like that level sometimes, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I knew. I just like, was just like, I think I was just aware of like, I don't want to look probably dorky or like get hated on or like kind of be like, no, I know I want to do this, so I want to get good. And yeah, especially back then, you know, like there was that whole like homophobia of like, oh, you're a gay rollerblader or like things like that as well. So I think I wanted to come in and be like, you know, if you say anything, I might out trick you. You know what I mean? Like, or like, yeah, let your like tricks kind of do the talking, especially like in Wainui, like small town. You know, it can be pretty hood down there back in those days and shit. So,
well,
yeah.
that's kind of funny that you say that, because my third question is like, did you get any shit for being a blader when you were like getting into it?
I did, but like, I don't know. I used to get called crazy white boy by the brown boys. Like seeing me do tricks and you crazy as well, like in a good way though. But I don't know, yeah, not more so when I started to travel outside of Wainui, because Wainui is quite small, and I guess people already knew me for like, I don't know, I could do like flips on my feet, and I was real fast, so people kind of knew me and were like, oh, you rollerblade now, you know, or like through BMXing and shit around the town. But it was more so when I started to go out of the hut and be around like when Melling Skate Park opened up over there. And that was kind of where I would see that, because you'd have like a real strong skateboarding scene, BMXing, and then like, you know, there's only like 3 bladers or some shit. There were like no scooter riders back then either. So like, you know, we were the hate for back then for sure.
Yeah. I guess it's Liam will probably agree, but I guess I asked that question because like back when we started skating, there was like in Hamilton especially, there was like a real strong like skateboarding inline, like almost like to a dangerous level of like feuding. I can remember like organized fights.
Yeah.
I think what might have kept me out of trouble too, like in my town as well, is like one of the real good skateboarders that was very well respected, and he was like a few years older, maybe like 3 years older than me. I used to date his younger sister, and like I think, you know, like because of that and because I was like a cool dude or whatever, he was like, you know, you're all good, blah blah. Like he's just like, it's weird they rollerblade, but like it's all good. And then like, you know, we'd both be at the park together, and like, yeah, I think he might have like kind of be like, no, don't give him shit, or like, you know what I mean? Like I think might have been a little bit of
that helps.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So plus I was either like a shit talker or like a dickhead, so. Yeah, people really, I never really felt a whole lot of hate. I do remember the first time I heard the word fruit Buddha though, and I thought it was funny. Like I was just like, oh my God, that's so good. Like,
I'm going to use that.
I was like, did people say that? I thought the dude made it up like right there and then. But yeah, crazy. Funny times.
It's sort of, most of it I thought always seemed to come from the skateboarding side, you know. I don't think anyone who like inline skated ever directed anything at anyone else. So
hard. I was always like, I don't know, I'd just be kind of quiet, and then like I said, just like let my tricks do the talking, like. And I always found that the ones who talk shit were the ones who couldn't even do like a kickflip. So you can't even do a kickflip, and I'm over here grinding everything on the park. So like, how can you call me a name?
Yeah.
And so you just seem insecure, mate. Type of deal.
It's a cool way of doing it. And it is true. Like you got to front up if you're a rollerblader going to a park nowadays. Like you got to come.
One of the like most backhanded compliments that I used to hear, and still do hear sometimes now, it's like, oh, you know, I used to think rollerblading's pretty gay, but you make it look pretty cool.
So,
you hear that quite often. They like. And it's pretty funny. These days, not so much, but like, I used to hear that quite a bit. Like, oh, I don't really like rollerblading, but you look cool, or the whole gay thing. You know? It's just like, I'm just like, well, why hate?
I was going to say, just leading on from when you kind of started in 2004, can you remember what your first skate video was that you saw?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh my God. So at first, like my mate, I met this dude at Melling and he just made me like a DVD with all these ripped videos, like little like sections or like competitions and things like that.
Yeah.
And it used to blow my mind because before I used to step onto my grinds thinking that's how you did them, like a soul grind. I did a soul grind, I used to call them T-bone grinds too, which is crazy. But my first video, dude, is 4x4 in the blind.
Holy shit, what a video.
Yeah, man. And when I seen Alex Roscoe and tight blue jeans and a long blonde hair, I was like, that's what I want to look like. Straight up. I used to be like, baggy blue pants from like the warehouse and like a white t-shirt, or like I used to have a yellow Adidas t-shirt that I would wear to death. And that was like my skater look. But yeah, as soon as I saw Leading the Blind, I was just like, holy shit, they don't have baggy pants on. Like, what the fuck? Like, because everything I saw in that video from my mate that he made me on the DVD disc he gripped me, everyone was bagged out, except for as well Ollie Short. But Alex Proskal was like, as soon as I saw that shit and that 4x4 video, I was just like, this is the best shit.
So what's the oldest skate video you've seen?
Ooh, you mean like when I was younger or like now?
Well, just in general, like does your knowledge go back as far as like Hoax 1 or 2?
Nah. So I think I remember like watching some VGs because I remember the one with Farmer and he doesn't even have TRS on you. He had like, I don't know, like big blue baggy t-shirt and like baggy black pants. And it's the one of Kevin Downey's like a spare shit.
Is that the East Coast VG?
Yeah. Like I remember
seeing VG 13 or something.
Yeah. So I remember seeing some of them. And then there's that one that Heffy's in. He's got like got the big profile in that, I think.
I think it's VG 10. Oh no, that's VG 20 roots.
I know I've seen like these days I've seen heaps of like old ones and shit because I love like the whole VX look way more than like massive HD and all that. So I love going back and seeing all the old ones. But yeah, I think some of those like VGs around that like 8, 9, 10, 11 era probably were the earliest that I would have seen. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Because when I first saw blading, I was just like, oh, it's baggy. And then, until I saw that 4x4 video, that was crazy.
A pretty heavy place to start.
I know, definitely.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, I can't step onto my grinds anymore.
Yeah, that's funny. There's a few people that were like that back even when we were starting. I remember Nick Swan used to do that like to every trick.
Yeah, well, no matter how fast you skated, he'd still step on.
Nah, that's crazy. Yeah. Me and my mate Clark, he's had massive battles about all that shit. Like, just no, you stepped on it, or like, any trick, especially like porn stars. I used to love doing those tricks. That was one of my favorite grinds to do, man. And just like drag the shit out of that back foot, and my soul plate would just be like to the boot, to the skin of the TRS skate,
So where you skate now, what's the scene like there?
It kind of comes in waves, but it's pretty like, I feel like it's pretty, you can kind of get 3 to 5 people together if you sort of like say, hey, maybe at the start of the week or, a week before, be like, yo, do you want to skate here at this day on the weekend or something like that? But there's also like a few people that are like, I know a few groups, because I always just go do it. And then there's sort of these little pockets that I either meet or that will like, I'll just see at skate parks. And then like, I'm in like a few groups. But yeah, anything from like 3 to 5 can kind of get together. I mean, there's over the years, there's been times where like, when all the boys were living in like all the Atua homies that brought me up, when they were all active as and living in the city of Wellington, like we would have like 10 of us, 5 to 10 of us, like every session. Like it was me.
Okay.
But it's not just one big posse now.
No. It's heaps of little groups, and it's a few of them are like, one of the groups is like kind of dudes that are like maybe early 30s, and sort of becoming dads or whatever, but they're all kind of getting back into it since like pandemic kind of buzz. And then you've got like Brandon and me that are like, pretty active on it. And then whoever we can kind of pull or like run into and things like that. Yeah, I've had like a few little like groms that I would like kind of bring up every now and then. Then they would either get into cars or girls or like partying, which is, you know what I mean? Like it's either like you stop and you go do that, or you can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel, but at the moment, I always go with my mate Clark at the moment, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think it's pretty easy to get about 3 to 5 of us together. Quite, yeah.
And you skate a bit with skateboarders too, huh?
Yeah, well, because yeah. Like I said, like the whole like, rollerblading was blah, but you make it look cool. So then like, I guess then just like having common interests, like I don't know, like whatever that you do at the park that you kind of share, like a J or some shit, you're talking, and then so you kind of like break down that like, I don't really care that you're doing that, you care that doing that. It's like the fact that we're vibing, or like because they can kind of see that like I turn up and I want to like rip. I don't just want to like be there to like drink liquor and like piss in the corner and shit, like fucking park up. You know what I mean? Like there's always those people. I'm always there to shred, or try to. And I think, if you can make it look cool, I mean that's always been my goal as well, is to make it look cool, and then you can't really hate. But yeah, a lot of skateboarders, especially that hub, like because that plaza area that you probably would have seen in my videos and shit, where I do heaps of cess slides.
Yeah,
that was like just all these kids and dudes that would like still be doing it, just would all meet there, and if you're ripping, they're going to be like, that's sick, and not care.
That's kind of why I asked, because that video, there was like so many people there. I thought, are they all meeting up? Is it like a big crew that meets up there all the time, like every Saturday or whatever? So
in phases. Like there were periods like when the plaza was quite new, I messaged everyone. I was like, oh, this place is so sick. It's in the heart. Like, come here and jam here. And like every time you go there, you'll have a solid session. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's a good vibe there. Like, you've got, there's like a barbecue, there's toilets, there's like, nice grass to like chill out on, benches. So like you can kind of have like, if you've got kids, you can bring them there. There's like a playground, not like literally just across the creek. Like, so it's a real good hub. And that helped get people either back into or like have a good place to go to, rather than some dingy, worn down skate park that's not really getting any love anymore. Mm-hmm. Which is what happens around Wellington. Like, it's all the ground is like pretty shit at all the parks.
So that's like it's just at the tail end of Upper Hutt kind of city, Like
so what, the plaza one?
Yeah.
So that's like in Lower Hutt, which is probably 15-20 away from Upper Hutt. So it's like in the middle. So you got like Wellington, and then you got like Upper Hutt, and then like Lower Hutt, and then like the plaza is sort of like in that area, right near the Hutt City Council building. It's a good spot, real good spot.
Pretty progressive of them to put in a park like that in a CBD location,
Yeah, I emailed them after coming back from the States, because like my first trip over there, I had time in my life, went to all these amazing spots, and then like came back and I remember thinking like, damn, all I've got is like stinky Melling Park and like my hometown spots, whatever. Kind of got lulled and a bit depressed about it all, and then all of a sudden, just my mate, one of my skateboarder mates, filmed a clip at that spot, and I messaged him and was like, where's that at? And he's just like, bro, it's by the council building. And I went there and I was just like, oh my God, is this like a skate park? And then I emailed them and I just said, hey, like, what's the deal with this place? I was like, hey, my name's Roulston. I've just come back from America, blah, blah. I've just discovered the spot. What's the deal with it? And then they're like, oh, yeah, we built it for with skating in mind. And I just wrote like this massive thank you to them. And they were like, oh, thank you so much. So like, oh, we're going to send this to like everyone involved in the project, like your message. So I was just like, this is the best thing like Lower Hutt's ever had. since Melling, which is like, Melling's like 14, 15 years old now, something like that. So yeah, they were like real stoked. So I have a good rapport with them too. I know the mayor from my town. The dude from my town is the mayor now. And he's just like, he came up to me one day and he's just like, oh, it's awesome that you guys are there because you guys are like, you guys like kind of police it a little bit in the sense of like keep it, like stop all the like people who come down there trying to fight or stand people over or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can put your shoes in at a certain point, you can put your shoes, your phone down, your speaker, and like go off and jam and not worry about it. So like, yeah, we helped like kind of build it up like that for the good like nearly 4 years. But then yeah, there's been a massive like year hiatus from there because Upper Hutt, the new park out there popped off and everyone like migrated out there.
It sounds like the new generation out here square kind of name.
Yeah, very much so. It's such a cool looking place.
Yeah.
I know I've walked through it because my daughter's at a dance comp at the building next door, and I still wish I was able to skate. It's so rad.
What was out here square? Is that in Auckland?
Oh, it was,
Yeah. It was kind of like the iconic meeting spot for anyone from that generation. But it was like, I guess, skateboarding was big as there too because they had like a kind of abstract fountain wedge bank thing in the middle. They had big, massive, long, rounded curbs, and everyone used to just congregate there. And it was probably a good, like it was down Cheapskates, it was down Simon Street, along K Road, down Queen Street. It was a massive hill bomb all the way down to this spot where everyone would meet up, and then you just split off from there and go to different spots around Auckland if that's where you're skating.
Is that the one that Ben's talking about, eh?
Yeah. Back in our day, like you could basically tune up to LT Square by yourself, and you're guaranteed to skate with 20 people.
That's unheard of these days, eh?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Damn, the dream.
So at that Plaza spot, I saw a clip of you on New Zealand Today that.
Oh yeah. Oh man, so like I was I remember like jamming the spot, and all of a sudden I like broke a wheel, or I broke a bearing or some shit. I think I broke a wheel. I was like, oh, I gotta go back to the car. Dumb. And like I'm like standing across the road by the council building, and my car's across the street, and like all of a sudden I see this white van pull in, and there's like all these people in there and all smiling at me, and I'm kind of thinking because my wheel was broken, I was kind of pushing goofy, because I couldn't like put pressure on it, and I was just like saw this white van pull in, and I was just like, I saw them all laughing or smiling, and I was like, oh, I bet all these people think I'm like some dorky ass dude, like fuck them. And then I'm like, go across the street, and then I'm like rummaging through my back of my car trying to find a wheel, and then all of a sudden I just hear, you're rollerblading fella, and I'm like ready to turn around and be like, whoa, like thinking this somebody's about to give me shit, not like to scrap him, but just to be like, you can't call me that, boy. And I turn around and I like look at him, and I'm just like, and he's just like, you're rollerblading fella. I'm like, look at him, I'm like, guy? And he was just like, yeah, bro. And then like, oh, bro, what up, man? And then he just goes, fuck, you're an interesting looking fella. And he's just like, you got cool ass hair, and you're dressed in like tight ass pants, and you got your white shirt on, and you're on rollerblades. He's just like, what the fuck? No one rides rollerblades. What are you doing on rollerblades, man? I was like, oh, I love this shit. And then he's like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, oh, I'm from Wainui. And he's just like, dude, this is way too good to be true, because he was doing that piece on Wainui for his show. And he just goes, oh, bro, like, hey, can you stick around for a bit? Like, I would love to come and interview you, maybe get you doing a couple of tricks. And I was like, yeah, for sure. Because he went to the building next to the park to interview the mayor. Who, So he's just like, oh, you give me like an hour or two and I'll come over and, we'll figure something out. And I was like, oh, he's sick. So like, and then like went off, had a jam, and I was like telling all the little homies around there, I was like, oh, yeah, bro, like, they're like, is that Guy Williams? He's like, yeah, he wants to come over and like interview me and shit. So they were all hyped as, and then like, he come over, before the crew, and I said what up to them all, and then he's just like, oh, yeah, do you want to like do a trick? And I was just like, yeah, bro, like, I was just like, you should stand up on here, like on that cess pad.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll do a trick past you. And he's like, yeah, cool, bro, cool. And then like, I think he thought I was going to be some goofy ass dude, bro. And I just like went up there and like backstabbed the pad. and landed it perfect, like cool and shit. And he just goes, "Holy fuck, that looked mean! Like, what the hell? That was sick." He's like, "Can you do like another trick, like a grind?" And then I was like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "I'll grind the ledge behind you." So like I just did like a back nougat because a back nougat is quite aesthetically cool to people who don't know what rollerblading is.
Yeah.
I did a back nougat on the ledge, landed fakie, and then he was just like, "What?" Like, "What the fuck? That looks sick." And then and then he was just like, and then we just like did the interview because he was there to research like a viral photo, I think it was. Yeah. That came out of Wainui. And that whole and that lady that like pulled in the lunchbox. If you heard about that, it's just that lady used to cut my hair when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, I know that lady." Like, "Oh, Kirsty, that's crack up ass." Small world, man.
Did you hear about that, Joss?
No, what happened?
Oh, she called the rock. She was stuck in traffic and she needed to poo, so she got her kid's lunchbox out and took a shit while driving in her kid's lunchbox.
Yeah, just like sitting in like bumper to bumper traffic on the motorway. It's so good.
While driving?
Yeah, I imagine like 5K, like not like 50, 60K type shit, but just like
while still kind of tricky.
Yeah, hard. Yeah, oh, mad props.
Some skill.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how that all happened. No, that was cool, man. I was like pretty much right place, right time. And I guess like, standing out a little bit with however I look or whatever. But yeah, that was funny, man. Like I couldn't believe that. And then I was just like, but it's gutted because they pulled the interview, but I still got, the back nougat clip on, New Zealand television. It was pretty gangster to be like, "I've got rolling on New Zealand television and it's not goofy." Like, yeah, like that's what's up. But the interview
you should have just rocked a slash Mizu, bro.
Yeah, but I was just like, I might miss that trick, if I do an H-block trick, I won't really miss it. Because I didn't. The last thing I wanted to do was make us look goofy.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, I'll just back nougat that. But like, the back save, I was like, they should have used that clip. But I have a feeling that they filmed it shit because they've all got like wide, long lenses and whatever, and they were standing quite close. And then I even tried to tell them, like, "Oh, you gotta go backwards, bro. You gotta go back." It's only film skating. But yeah, I think I was real like confident, even just with like how I was just like, "Yo, what up?" Introduce myself to all the filmers and shit like that, and the like his little like assistant. So that was cool.
Right.
Yeah, I think just carrying yourself with like confidence, I think helps too.
So you're one of the few, maybe the only skaters that's actually sponsored now in New Zealand. Is that accurate?
Nah, because I think Brandon would be pretty up there. I mean, that dude's got like he gets products thrown at him, man. I guess not specifically from one company or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't know, because the Shred City has a team. You got like Gib on there, Leeds on there. There's like a couple of those like roller skate people. Sorry, I can't remember their names. But yeah. I mean, because I obviously ride for Shred City. Shout out, thank you. Those dudes are cool. And shout out Kelvin and Laced Apparel as well, which is like Brandon's clothing company. And then I've had I used to get like wheels and stuff from this brand called like Tougher Wheels a little while ago when they were popping. When Scott was doing Square NZ wheels, he used to hook me up a bit. That was cool. And then like I used to be sponsored by this like shop in Wainui that used to do like clothing, and they used to do like all the prints. That's how I got like all my stickers. Those were all like free, and all the like all the prints of like the Slug stuff on the hoodies and that. They used to do that for me.
Was that 4 Elements?
Yeah. So that was just like all time, just started in the mall, and I just went into the shop and I was like, "Yo, do you guys sponsor people?" And he's just like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Oh, like I don't know, hook up free product or like something." And I was like, "I'll make you a video and share it and see what happens." And he's like, "Oh, you're sick." So that's how I like got onto that. But yeah, there's probably some more that I'm forgetting, but yeah.
So do you think that it's a mutually beneficial situation for you? Obviously it is for you to get free stuff, but for them as well?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think so in this day and age where a lot of it's just about like constant content, like churn it out, share everything. So I think they get a lot of exposure. Yeah, you know, like having a bunch of different, like, you know, it's like, here's my following, their following. I think that all helps as well. Yeah, I don't know.
So you actively tell people like who you rep?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because like the most common thing, like besides hearing Kenny do a backflip at a skate park, the first thing I'll hear from kids is, "Are you sponsored? Are you sponsored?"
Yeah.
And I'll be like, "Yeah," and then they're like, you know, like even that too. I've noticed that like if you say that to anyone, they straight away will like kind of not write rollerblading off. If you're a rollerblader and you say yeah when they say "Are you?" and they kind of can't. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just think that's such a weird question. Like we used to get asked, like, "Are you sponsored? Are you sponsored?" And it wasn't. I don't think it was ever really a question. Like, I don't think it was really a question like, "Oh," it was more of a question like, "Oh, are you any good?" Like,
true.
It was never to find out like what skates do you ride or who do you like, what products do you like. And I guess the reason I asked that question is because back in the day when like the likes of you know, like some of the guys that rode for Rollerblade and stuff, I don't feel like it was ever really worth those companies giving us free stuff. Like I got a few pairs of free skates. I didn't do anything for them. Like I don't think I ever made it beneficial for them to give me skates.
But I think back then, because obviously it wasn't so much about sharing a video, social media, blah, blah. It's probably more just like seeing someone with talent on those skates. So then when someone says to you, "Hey, where do I get rollerblades from?" then you can actually tell them, or like, hey, they might be like, "Oh, those are 6 skates." Because that's kind of what I get asked, you know, people will be like, "Oh, rollerblades, like those are real cool. Where do you get them from?" And I can now say, like, now that Shred City's in the game, it's just like, boom, here's your website, or like, yo, hit them up. You're like, it's so good. Whereas before, it's just like, oh, I get them from America or Italy, or you know what I mean? Like, whereas now you can say an actual shop, which is real cool.
Yeah.
For when they
I think it works better now, was my point. Is like back in the day, I honestly don't think that people were going, "Oh, he rides those kind of skates, so that's what I'm going to go buy." Like I think now it probably is a bit more effective.
If only you flipped over a van, Josh, you might have got a pair of Randy Spiders.
Yeah, but even the people that did do that, you know, like Doug, Brady, all those guys, like, I still don't think that sold skates for Leisure Corp or for Aaron, you know. I think that was just a circus, right? And it didn't make people go, "I'm going to go buy a pair of those skates." Like, but now people like Ryan, you know, like they probably will go, "Oh, like those are sick skates. Like that's what I'm going to go and track down."
Yeah. I used to get asked that a lot too when I was riding on shadow skates because they were so like unique.
Yeah.
You know, people were like, "Well, what are those?" So I was going to try to plug in my charger real quick. Yeah, those ones were like a real big deal to a lot of people because the whole like shoe thing, people were blown away by it. I mean, so was I. That's why I got some. But especially like the general public who like, you know, because they're like, "Well, you can walk in those and stuff."
Yeah. I can strap my Crocs into them.
Yeah. It's like, "Oh, you know, you can go into the deer or into the supermarket and not get told off. You can just take them off, or not just walk around in your socks."
And so, other question about sponsorship. So, a fair bit of your content gets shared on the Rocies official Instagram too. Have you ever been contacted you?
Nah, because I remember when I saw that dude, I don't know if you know the guy, Chad Hornish, who's on the team. Well, he was. When they said to him, "You'll never be pro because you're too old," and I think he was like 30 or 29 at the time, I was just like, well, I'm never going to now that I'm in my 30s, it's not like I'm going to try and approach all these companies being like, "Yo, hook me up, sponsor me, you want to be pro," or anything like that. It's just like, I'm already outside the bracket now, you know?
Yeah.
Even though these days, young 30s, late 20s is like seeing teenagers on skates because there's so not that many people doing it, you know? It's like that is kind of like the young age, which is crazy. Until more recently, anyway, from what I see.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder if like that like being a professional, like not that it was maybe ever like a viable goal in New Zealand to be a professional. I kind of think maybe that's gone now, you know?
Yeah. I mean, when I was real young, I was like, I want to be pro. I want to be, do all that. And then, I don't know. I think, we all know that rollers don't really get paid that much these days and things like that. Even the top dogs, So
it's a long time since Scott used to get those $2,000 a month Senate checks.
Yeah, I'm interested to talk to him about that, but that's for his episode. I think we should that'll be good to talk to him.
That's crazy. $2,000 a month, that'd be so cool. You wouldn't even need to work a job. Unless you got kids and a mortgage.
Yeah. So you do a lot of online videos. I haven't seen a lot of them, but I've checked out quite a few, and that's a pretty big part of your skating. If you took that away, if you didn't do any of that, like I kind of feel like you would still be into it.
Yeah, hard. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I just, it just mostly came from like one day getting a camera and being like, okay, I'll start filming stuff. But I was still doing it all. And then once phones became, a video and all that, it just became easier to do. And at the same time, like I think for me, like, I don't know, like seeing views or likes or whatever, it can be a bit of fuel. I think, was it Kevin Batten? That was the last guy on the podcast today. I know before Noe, when he was talking about how he's just like, sometimes getting those likes will make me be like hyped to like go get another video, or like that used to fuel me a bit when I was younger as well doing it. Like not so much like, these people like it, but just like cool to see people be like enjoying watching it as well, or like giving you positive feedback and shit like that, or negative.
Yeah.
Fuel, just to even keep going. It's just that little extra, but I'd still be doing it. Like, I wouldn't even care. Like before I got a smartphone, I was so late to even getting all that. Like I was still using the clicky phone when like iPhone 6s and 5s were out and shit. It's just like, I don't care. I'll just keep doing it. And then
it probably is in that sense keeping the scene going quite a lot. Really. Yeah.
Especially for people like, say you can only get out once a week or every fortnight. If you filmed like 5 tricks and you just post one every couple of days or once a week, then it will, just keeps, it looks like you're doing it more, or just more times you can post for more engagement, for more people outside to see it and get hyped on it, or feel yourself to keep going as well.
Like I'm not bagging on it at all. But what I miss is like, and no one's ever really tried to do it in New Zealand apart from Sack. He actually, and as far as I know, he actually did like an old school video with like
I've watched them.
Arts in it,
yeah. They're so cool, man. I love all that shit. Like we just ended up doing like promo videos once we started like the whole not when I say we, I did it, but when the boys started like the whole Hate City thing. What really got us like hyped was making like promos every year for that. And that was real cool. Like just, we would churn out like maybe 2 or 3 videos before the competition just to get people hyped and get ourselves hyped and get the crews together and shit like that. Like that was real cool. But those like full videos, like I'd love to be a part of one of those. Me and Brandon kind of like, we did a couple of VODs. So we're like, we'd actually film and shit and not really like post it. And save it all up for that. But in terms of like a full proper like intro section, friend section, montage, blah blah blah, like that would be so cool. Like that I haven't seen that
it's kind of lends itself to a different kind of approach to skating too, because I remember when it sort of changed. Like I used to skate with Isaac when he was quite young, and he would just go around Auckland, he would just skate everything. It didn't matter really what it was. He'd want to go get tricks. Well, most people did. It wasn't just Isaac. But then I remember later on with him, it was always about going and specifically going to places to get like clips. Like he knew what he wanted, and he was very Same, a little bit same with Van, I guess. You know, like they were actually going to do specific things.
Yeah,
For
I
that
saw
reason.
that a lot. I saw that a lot, and from Isaac when we started to go to America with him, when he would take us, you know, on these like fucking awesome, massive missions around wherever. He'd plan them all out, you know, plan all the spots. And he already had like, you know, his trick in his head and studied, and then like he'd get it most of the time too, and it was insane. But like to see that, yeah, like the whole like I'm going here to get this trick, going here to get that trick, like yeah, that's such a cool, it's a gnarly mentality to have too.
And it's working toward. It was working towards like that video part, which was kind of why I brought it up. You know, like that. That's a new kind of skating to what we were used to when we were younger, but it's definitely like I can appreciate that a lot.
I don't think I really have it in me because like when I put what's the word, like an expectation on what I want to do that day and I don't get it, or I get there and it's a bust, I just get so depressed, like bummed out. Like, it's like my whole world is over because like I wanted that one trick on that spot and I got there, I either couldn't do it, got kicked out. You know, so I kind of, I used to actually have that mentality of, I want to go there, get this, and then started to get, and then started to be kind of like nonchalant about what I do when I go to places, which can be good and can like fuck you, because then you sit there, do all your warm-up tricks, and then you're burnt out or whatever. Or you're just doing MBDs. Yeah. Oh, sorry, ABDs.
So going back to that VOD thing, Slug, so you and Brandon are the only New Zealand guys that have actually done a VOD. Do you know any numbers in terms of how many you sold or what you generated?
I personally don't, but I think the first one we put out got us enough money to like buy a sick camera, man. Like that's the thing, because like we weren't trying to be like, you know, give us all this money, blah, blah, blah. It was just like, you know, like whatever you donate will pretty much go towards gas and another camera. And like obviously me and him aren't the best skaters ever or anything like that, but like these days it's more about like who wants to support you and who, you know, and then it kind of was more of that. And then you know, we're like, cool, if that happens then we'll make another video. I think we did like 3.
It should be a cool idea.
But now now we don't, he doesn't even need to do that. He's killing it. He's killing it. But and then like now we just do like promo videos when he does clothing drops, which is pretty much like 4 times a year, like kind of every season of the year, which is pretty cool. It's been more enjoyable because I don't know, I just see the pressure of like go here, do this that day, or like you can do that. Like I did enjoy it, but at the same time, for me personally, it doesn't really click with me to be like I have to go there that day and do this. And sometimes I like can't sleep or like, you know, because I'm like all stressed out about what I need to get. So
that's cool. I guess that just shows a genuine love for the sport more than like if you go too far into the like going here to get a clip, going here to get a clip.
You can get so down. And and I've always been like, I guess like worried that like I don't know if I go and try some gnarly ass trick and get smoked and can't skate for 3 months, I'd be like so bummed out. You know what I mean? So these, I'm just like, I just want to skate. And if like something cool happens there that day, then me. So and if not, then I can survive and do it again the next day or 3 days after, depending on how hurt I get.
Have you ever done any of those like skate for 30-day challenges? Because I could imagine you could skate heaps.
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. Didn't there used to be like a 28-day one?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that used to be like the first one that trended today, and then B3 ran with that. He's done like thousands of days. I remember doing that. So when I was at that creative tech thing, I remember we had to do it like a video documentary kind of thing. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to do 30 days in a row and I've got to go out and get a trick. That's where I discovered I kind of don't like doing that. Putting that expectation on that, because I was just like, at first it was all good. And then they're like, say if it rained, I was just like, oh my God, I still got to like find something to do. Or if I got hurt or too busy, I would get stressed out. But that's how I actually did that. So when I was like 22, 23, I did like a 30-day thing, documented it all and shit like that. But I kind of privatized it because when I look at it now, it's a bit cringe.
So is it a different trick every day?
I don't think it was a different trick. I think I tried to go to a different spot at least, and just pretty much try do a trick. Try and do a trick every day for 30 days.
Shit, I was gonna say, like, if it was a new trick every day, I'd be recycling after 1 week.
Well, I'd be like, can I do a 180, then a 360, then like real budget ass little like variations to try and like be like, yeah, that counts.
So what else have I got on my list? What do you think about the New Zealand scene as a whole? Like, what do you think it's lacking, or is it lacking anything?
It's definitely lacking exposure and youth. Yeah, from what I've seen growing up and being around it, man, like so many Kiwis could be shitting on pros that are out there now, that are like up there. Like I've seen some of my like the Artois boys, I've seen them do some like Jamie Nicholson, craziest shit ever. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. What was the question again, sorry?
It was on generally in New Zealand, and the New Zealand scene as a whole. Like, what if you think it's lacking anything, or like does it have a direction, or do you think it's going downhill, or are we sort of turning into just like a few random ragged groups of people like yourself who just still really love it, but it's not growing?
Yeah. I think it's growing more now. I think it needs more like events that are like meets, or not so much meet, but like an event to get a lot of people together. Those are really beneficial.
Community.
Yeah. They're also quite hard because everyone's getting older. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so it's like
I guess that could comment on the youth thing, right?
Yeah. So you need to get like everyone needs to kind of like try to get their kids onto it. Try to get their kids hooked on it or something like that. But I understand that kids these days want to play. There's so much technology that's just so much more appealing than being inside and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like it'd be cool to just like, there was a way you could sort of get everyone to film, somehow get like a trick or two from everyone and then like make a cool video out of that. That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to kind of not be like super clicky to the point where people can't hang out with the clicks as well. But I understand why that happens.
It was kind of like road trips and it was kind of, I guess it was like things like the Nationals and XAir that kept it going when we were around.
That's it, yeah. So like, for me, it was always like looking forward to Hate City comps and then filming those like little promo videos, and because then everyone would sort of like start to come together, and then all of a sudden on the day there'd be like all these people that I don't even know, or like, you know, that all end up together. Like the first like 3 of them was so mean. There was so many people.
People, yeah. I think I kind of thought people kind of lacked like a dedication to want to make it look cool, like you were saying earlier, like to really like get good at it and like progress, not just kind of piss around with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've always, I remember like Billy O'Neill saying something about like certain tricks that look very aesthetically pleasing to people who don't like, they don't understand rollerblading is like a big thing too. Like, you know, like you could do this craziest amount of spins to a grind, and then like, but then you could just do like a real cool like Royale, and someone's probably gonna be like, that's pretty sick. Like, I don't know what the other trick was, but that one that he did there was just solid and looked good.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because I was always, that was always my mentality.
Yeah. I mean, I can't skate that way, so that's another excuse for me. So I'll just do stuff and make it look cool. Just on the style of it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, money would be a good thing, man. Just to get people, like prize money would be sick. Be a good thing.
Incentives. Yeah.
It's real hard. I don't know. It's hard here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So you referenced, sorry, Josh, I was going to say you hooked up with you referenced the Hate City guys heaps and the whole Atua crew. When did you first meet up with them, and how's that kind of evolved your skating?
Oh, massively. But like, so, oh yeah, I remember like being at Melling, and I was like, look, I mean, I've been a park rat my whole life. I still am. That's why I don't really have a whole lot of streets, always park. But I remember being at Melling Skate Park. I think I was by myself, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And then just like all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure it was like a Nissan Primera, rocks up, and just like all these dudes pile out of it. And they just like ascend on our skate park and just fucking gave it a hiding. And like, it's like rockstar shit, you know? Like, and then like, I remember like Jamie like went up the half pipe and like stalled on top of this fence. And I was like standing on the half pipe and watched them just like, boom, stall that 180 back into the thing and slam and then get up. And I was just like, oh my God. And then like Gibson front-sided across this like big ass long ledge that's there all the way. And just like, they just all ripped the shit out of the park. And I just couldn't believe it. So I remember seeing them, and then I like talked to them a little bit, and then they just disappeared. And then all of a sudden, do you know those like Vic ledges in Wellington? They had like an X here they're by the train station. There's like a UN.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you guys had there's X clips there. Me and my mates, we would take the train to there, and we would just jam that in the weekends. And all of a sudden, Kerry and I think it's Mike T, they just turned up when we were there, and they were just so stylish doing like mean ass tricks. So I was just like, oh yeah, I remember that guy, like Kerry and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I remember going there another time, and then Dix was there, and he was doing like negative grinds on those ledges, and that blew my mind because I've never seen that before. And then I moved to Wellington when I was 19 to the city, and I used to go to Schaefer Skate Park in the evenings. And one time I just like went down there randomly by myself, headphones in, and there were like 5 bladers there, and one of them was Meat, Carl Tangent. And I would skate with them, we have a session, and then I would just like leave and go home and hang out with my mates. And I think by the 3rd or 4th time, he was like to me, bro, you were actually pretty cool, eh? Like, you should come hang out with us after this. And I was just like, oh, okay, like, sweet. And I remember he was like, oh, he's the guy that can do the cool backside backslides, because I used to be real good at backside backslides on my Valas. And I remember him being like, oh, you're the guy who do that. And I was like, fuck, that's a mad compliment from that guy, because I remembered him from ripping the park back in the day. And so, yeah, I went to hang out with them, and they introduced me to like weed and like fucking all like, what do you call it? Like chop ones and shit like that. And just like a bit more like partying and like, and because I knew him, some of the boys would come to like Lincoln, stay in the city, and I guess, yeah, I would just like be around them. And then all of a sudden I like met like Isaac Rose, like Jamie Gibson, like more when he moved back from Aussie. I can still remember like hanging out at Isaac Roll's house, and I like only sort of just started to like come into their group. And then like Gib came back, and I thought he's like the coolest dude ever. See, like this mean gangster emo fringe, and like he was just like, tats everywhere. And I was just like, fuck, that's that guy, dude. I did that mean front side grind. Like, me, I'm hanging out with him now. So I was like, there, Grom, like to me, they were rock stars as fuck. And I was like, fuck, this is mean. They like want me to hang out with them. And then eventually it just got to a point where, they'd start doing little like skate trips in cars, just like jump in, come with us, start doing that. And then eventually Jamie, when he moved back to New Zealand, him and Scott used to have that transit van, and then they would start doing like trips and that, and then they would just be like, yo, come on these trips. And so I would just like go on these like little fucking East Coast tours with them and shit. And yeah, then like became mates with them, like met Albie, because we'd always go through like Napier, met like Albie, met Tom. Yeah, and then just all vibes. So we're into the same shit. Yeah, but I was like the emo that would like hang out with all those dudes, with like the tight ass pants and shit. Yeah, mad love for them mad love for them for not being a hater on how I looked and being like, yeah, hell yeah, come get amongst this shit.
Huh.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah. Just like literally seeing them at a skate park, and then just from doing it and keep on doing it, run into them. Yeah, and then eventually started to go on little like weekend missions and cars, and then all of a sudden that led into like jumping in a van with them and going on like a week-long trip and shit like that, and then becoming mates with them all. And
I guess that probably pushes your skating up a bit too, I imagine.
Yeah, hard out because I was such a park rat, I couldn't really skate the street stuff that I'd hit. So, and then I got like a video camera, so I'd kind of almost start getting like second angles, and then sort of became like almost like a little like bit of their like unofficial second angle filmer, because I think X became like their main filmer. Yeah, and then I'd sort of like skate whatever I could skate wherever we were at, and then I'd like grab the camera and start filming them, and then chop up little edits and stuff for them or like for us and stuff. And then eventually I would do my little like Hate City promos next to like Dex's Hate City promos. Yeah. And then obviously there's like a friendship all there too, and then become mates. And then they had my back, watched out for me. So I got mad love for all of them.
What tricks are the scariest for you? And what's the most fun for you?
Pretty much like most topside tricks on leaders. Like
are the scariest?
Yeah. Like it's weird. Like I can do like sweaties, certain alley-oop tricks. I can cone grind and stuff, but then like I don't know, just for some reason I just like can't topsail the ledge. Like it scares the shit out of me, man. But I can do it on like anything round. What else? For some reason, I can't back service a ledge, but I can cis the shit out of them.
Yeah, obviously.
Or I can like cis it and then get it onto the grind. But for some reason in my head, I just like can't jump and do a back serve. Yeah, that trick. Yeah, those tricks scare the shit out of me. Yeah, topsails and ledges, which is sucks because topsails are so cool. True spin top pawn. That shit's fucked.
Yeah,
it's such a cool looking trick. Yeah,
that's a Van Weird trick.
Yeah, from what I heard in the stories, I'm saying, yeah, man, that's a gnarly trick. Anything like spin to win, like I've never been able to do that shit. I always just be like, I'm too tall, fuck that. That's what I would say to kids too, and they ask me to do a backflip. I'm like, I'm too tall, bro. Too tall for that shit. But and flips, I can't do flips. Like, but then I think it's a product of like when you see the hometown park that I grew up at, you just be like, no wonder you skate the way you skate. Like, there's like nothing that can facilitate. There's nothing there to like build you up.
Flips are unnecessary anyway.
That's what I reckon too. Like, I'd rather see a cool soul grind than like a ganky ass back flip. That's like
got that, Liam? Got that?
But at the same time, they're still sick. Like I'm still gonna be like, okay, that's mean. I can't do that. Like, but
do you think you'd ever do 9 back reels in a row in an XE run though, Ryan?
I think that'd be
this is turning bad now.
Like, I'll be like, that's my warm up. That's my warm up.
What's your worst crash ever?
I got one of them I got real cocky, and I was just doing a frontside on this massive ledge, and I used to be so good at doing it on the spot. I was at Melling, and like eventually I was frontsiding it, and I'd like cross my arms to be like, look how easy it is. And then like my front wheel like bit the concrete, and it like flung me around, and my shin landed like right on the corner of where the ledge like ended. And just fucking blew that shit out. That was dumb. I had to like limp all the way to the bus all the way back to Wainui, and was like nearly crying walking into my house to my mum, and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I showed her, and she's like, oh my god, you gotta go to hospital. That was gnarly. And just like anytime I've had like a bunch of hairline fractures to my wrists and shit. So just anytime I've like done that, it's been pretty dumb. Oh, sorry. And one time when I was like 16, I tried to like 180 up this like sideway gutter and clear this little garden spot in Wainui. And I tried to 180 it, and I thought it was real cool because I bought like what do you call it? Like a vest thing from like an op shop, like something like what Bam would wear back in the day. And like I tried to 180 and I just like, as soon as I hit the gutter and 180, I just like went limp and I like flew all the way straight onto my back. And I still trip out to this day that I'm not like dead from that or like paralyzed or anything. Like it fucked me up, man. I can't believe I did that and survived it. And then I went back years later and like redid the trick to like push the fear out.
Nice.
But yeah, those would be the gnarliest ones I'd say recent. Oh yeah, from over the years. But,
I'll be right back. Hang on.
I was going to ask you, Ryan, like, what has been your favourite skate setup? Like, if you have out of your skate history, what's your favourite skate you've ever ridden?
Probably the M12, to be honest. Yeah. I haven't actually skated a lot of skates. I've done PRS, then I went to Valo, and then Shadow, and then Rosie's. Yeah, I haven't really done a whole lot, but yeah, M12s, man, like, yeah. It took me a while to like want to skate them because when I had a Shadow, I was like, oh, I need all the soul space. And then when I went to M12s, I was kind of like, oh, you don't really need all that. But it does help mentally sometimes when you do certain tricks. But yeah, ultimately, I'd say like the M12. But now I got the that Rosie's fifth element, which is pretty cool. So the best of both worlds.
Definitely my favourite skate.
Yeah, they're cool.
Oh,
mate.
you changed the picture behind you.
Yeah, well, I knew Ryan skated Fifth Element, and they were my favourite ever skate sponsor, so I thought I'd chuck it up.
Yeah, they're cool.
Huh.
Man. They're so cool. Like, I love the look of an M12. It just looks so good.
Yeah, so clean. It certainly improved my style going from rollerblade to skating them.
Yeah. I've probably only tried like 5 different types of blade. I mean, I've tried people's blades. I put on Jamie's rims once, and I just went boom on my bum, and I was like, "Fuck these." Took them off straight. They're not for me, Jamie, because when he was on the team, he obviously would have been like trying to get people all on them, and I was just like, "Nah, I can't ride them." Straight on my bum. Yeah, I don't know. I put on razors once, and I was just like, "Ugh, get these off."
I thought everyone loved razors. I thought they were like.
Oh no, me and Isaac Cullen had funny chats about razors, man. Like, fuck those things, man.
That's how I felt about
over that. Is he over that now as well?
Yeah.
How big a tongues can you have sticking out of the tops of your skates?
That was the style back in the day, eh?
Yeah.
Can your tongues be bigger than your red trackies?
That's crazy.
Are you very health conscious? Are you a health conscious person in terms of your skating?
Yeah, hard. Yeah. I mean, I take like certain vitamins and shit at the moment, but in terms of skating, I only really skate what I feel comfortable doing, especially these days. Health. Yeah, I won't really do it if like I can feel certain like pings, like if it's like the shoulder or neck or like, I'll just be like, nah, I need to stop because I want to be able to tomorrow or the next day and not be like out for ages. Like, if I have like certain weird feelings like that, I'll be like, I have to stop, dumb. But I'll get bummed out that I have to. Yeah.
What else have I got on my list?
Get my kids to bed.
What other creative outlets have you got?
Well, I'm a massive nerd, so I love like video games, hard out.
Do you film yourself playing them and then?
No, I don't do that. I don't do any of that. But people tell me that I should, which would be pretty funny. I mean, I like getting tattooed, but it's not really fun. But there's a cool result. What else? I mean, I love using a camera. I love filming. What else?
Not just skating.
Yeah, no, I do love other shit.
But you like filming stuff other than skating?
Yeah. I like filming what makes someone look cool. like I don't know. I like doing that. I like filming that kind of shit. I love filming anything behind the scenes as well. Like if there's a party going on, I love to like be the one that's filming it, documenting it. Yeah, I love that shit. Yeah, video over photos for sure. I don't know, I used to be hard out into drawing and shit like that and design. Like I guess when I was like hard out on my like, making like logos and doing clothing and stuff, that was definitely a big one. But yeah, these days it's just like I just love video games to death, like it's like my retirement plan. Just like but I don't think it will be that easy. I've got more shit on my plate these days. Yeah.
So how much longer have you got skating? How long do you reckon you got?
Well, I always kind of tell I thought after 24 you're dust. So I like still trip out that I can do it. But I think comfortably I could keep doing it at my level if I don't get any shitty injuries to at least 35. But I could see myself doing it to 40.
I got shitty injuries and I can still do it, and I'm 40.
Yeah, it's more about like if I saw myself from a third person, I just want to be happy with how I look and the tricks.
Totally. That's such a good answer, because that's what really counts in the end, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just like I don't. Yeah. That's I think but I might get over that, at a certain point. That might just be the vanity in me at this point in life.
You might be like 42, 44. You might go back to that school that you started at where you didn't want to be like, right, no one will see me here. It'll be sweet.
That's it. Well, yeah. I mean, I love these days. Like my favorite shit is just like DIY driveway sessions. Like you might have seen some shit at my mate Clark's place, like just like a mojo box in a ray or like in a homie or two to jam with. Like that's like my favorite shit. DIY and skate parks are like my favorite, man. I'm a park rat hard, or just like a loiterer with like a crusty ledge to jam or some shit. That's not my favorite.
Yeah, I definitely see the DIY thing in you. Like as soon as we started talking to you, I was like, the DIY thing is definitely there.
Yeah. Like I just jam the shit out of a P-rail, or like, I'll go to a park or whatever and probably just jam one thing to death. Or build something. Like during that like lockdown we had, the COVIDs and all that shit, I like put together this rail. And just like every day I would jam it and try to learn like a new trick or a new variation. Stepped up my game hard on that thing. It was so cool. I still have it too. But yeah, it's just stuff like that, like backyard jams and shit. They're my favorite.
So you mentioned a mojo box just then. And you talked about that in Kevin's episode. Yeah. Where did you first hear the term mojo box?
Probably from going to that park, to the Napier Park. I thought that was what you called them. And I remember when like I would say to people, oh, I mean, there's a mojo box, and people are looking at me like, oh. And I'm like, well, I thought that was, I straight up, until I watched that interview, that podcast episode, I was just straight up thought that's what they were called. Or just so
that's only ever one mojo box.
So that's not like full trendsetter shit right there that you that park's done with that, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's cool as.
Sean or Colin Kelso?
Oh, Sean, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, yeah. So I remember talking with Kiri once upon a time. I was just like, do you like Sean Kelso or Colin Kelso style? And he's like, yeah, man. And I kind of was like, oh, it's too overdone. But nowadays, man, I'm just like, Sean Kelso's the man to me. He's so sick. He's cool, man. Me and him, like, yeah, he's fucking cool. His skating's, I rate it. I like both though, but if I had to choose, I would choose Sean Kelso's.
I always struggled with Colin's hands. You know how he did the hands thing back in the day when he'd land a trick?
Yeah, it's either that or the weight arm, I think he calls it, eh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You can overdo that stuff. I gotta say, you can, but if you get it right, if you're not too like ham-fisted with it, if you can be subtle, like, I think it works.
I think I would answer that question with back in the day, Colin Kelso. Today, Sean Kelso.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. Yeah, for sure. I feel like Sean Kelso's tall too, like kind of my height. So I think I might gravitate towards that too, like seeing I like seeing tall people skate with style. It's like my favorite shit.
Yeah.
Because it ain't easy to make it look good when you're a tall ass dude. Like I remember thinking when I first went to the States and saw all these pros or like all these dudes, I was like, holy shit, you're short. Like, no wonder. Like, I was like, holy crap, I thought these were all like 5'8", 6'1". Like, they're all like down there.
You actually look way taller in video. And like and when I see you in person, you actually look quite a lot shorter than video. So
yeah, I think I'm like 6'1" or just shy of that, probably. Yeah. In the States, people thought I was tall as. I'm just like, I'm normal back home, mate.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't nothing.
but it's interesting what you said about if you're tall and you can make it look good, that's nice. But
yeah, man.
I think in general, it can be really easy to make like inline skating look really bad.
Yeah. Oh, hard. I mean, I skate freestyle, which I know is hated. And then, like, you know, if I try to go over certain like shitty terrain, I'm just like, oh. And I'm like, I hope no one's seen that. Tarnish our image.
I don't have any more questions, but I just want to know, has Isaac shown you his torn nut?
Nah, but when we went over last, I think 2019, and he blew a hernia. And he showed and it looked like he had a third nut. You need to show us, because he's like, bros, I don't know, man, I need to show you. I'm not trying to like be sus. And he like showed him. I was like, holy shit, like, because he fucking gapped this massive damn like thing, bank thing, and like landed like a football slide. And I think all the pressure shot him all the shit up and just like blew it out, man.
Oh,
poor fella. And he still had like over half the trip to go with that.
shit.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. Yeah. But no, I haven't seen, because we're that Scully McSax guy, right? Yeah, that's such a good handle. It's a good name. But no, I haven't seen
Maybe he'll show everyone when
yeah.
you talk to him on here.
What's that?
Maybe he'll show everyone like online when we talk to him. So
That's probably how you're just going to like see him the first time when he pops up on the screen. Just,
yeah.
No, sorry.
You're not really missing out on anything. Like, it's nothing special. But I just wondered if he had brought you into that circle of friends that had seen it.
Into the circle of trust.
Maybe next tour.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky.
I wanted to, speaking of traveling, because you've been on heaps of skating trips.
Yeah, man.
So I was real keen to just share my screen for a second and bring up a few images of some of the trips you've been on.
Yeah.
And whether you could just give us some quick fire anecdotes about some of those clips, if that's all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, hold on. I always fuck this up. So start here. Can you see that?
Oh, dude, yeah, that was sick. Oh, that was so cool. I remember, like, because I was like, holy shit, there's Chris Farmer. And then, like, from the crowd, and he was coming over, and he noticed me first, and he just goes, Slug Lord. And I was like, Callum Shaw. And then I was just like, oh, hey, Chris, nice to meet you, bro. Like, blah, blah, blah. Because, like, whatever, chatted in the DMs every now and then, all that, you know, emojis and shit for fucking Instagram. And then I remember when we, like, walked away, I got my photo and all that, and we walked away, and Callum just goes, holy fuck, bro, you know you were so good. Like, what the fuck? Like,
That's so rad.
Yeah, harder. He's a tall ass dude, like, next to, like I was saying, like, I think he's a bit taller than me, too. And, like, everyone, yeah, he was dwarfing everyone. Sorry if that's the wrong word to use.
Josh, just in case you don't know, so this is what Chris Farmer looks like now, not the track paint version you might remember.
Yeah, I probably would have speculated that he would look something like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he still works hard too, but that was at Blade Cup 2019. That one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, I got to, like, you know, I got to meet some of my heroes, and they were like cool ass dudes. I was like, man.
Let's see if I can get this next one to go.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so we stayed right across the road from that spot. There was no way in hell. I mean, I would love to have bombed into it from that top part, but you need like a plyboard, I think, up there to do it. But that was like early as in the morning, like gnarly early, like people were going to work in the morning. So right next to the road, there was just tons of cars everywhere. I was skating like chunked out, blown out wheels, and I was like, I have to get a trick on here. I have to get a trick on this. Otherwise, I'll fucking die. It was like anything. So I just like, skated up it and then cessed down it. But it took me a while, and I fell and I got the yuckest hand ever. Like that ground is trash. Trash. Scummiest ground ever.
Who took the photo?
That's a screen cap from I think either Isaac or Callum's filming that, but I just screen capped it to post it to save the clip. But share like you got a trick there.
It worked really well. Like even if that was a standalone photo, that's a cool shot. Apart from the shadow pisses me off.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I would love to have done it from the top, but like I said, like honestly, like there were so many cars there. I at least just wanted to go onto the top of the ramp and just bomb in, just to be like, I got a trick there, you know.
I think I've seen that on some skate videos, some skateboarding videos.
There was a skateboarder this week that did like a 360 ollie into the bank off the roof.
Yeah. So that Alex Midler, I think his name is. 360'd in, and then you've got that Milton Martinez guy.
Oh, it's Milton Martinez, yeah.
Yeah, he kickflipped it and he broke his leg like prior to doing it too.
Shit.
And he went back
so
and
that angle actually makes it look kind of small. That thing's massive.
Yeah.
And the ground is so like it's the ugliest. Like where you land is trash as well. Ugh. But that was right across the road from where we stayed. Like legit right across the road.
We'll shift on to the next one. This is fairly iconic spot too.
Cool. Yeah, that was my ender of the. That was my second. Like that was our second. So that was everybody's last spot except for mine because I got to go to my last spot. But yeah, and then I said to the boys like we had a joke because like me, Gib, and Callum were all trying to get like a trick down to the end, and I was just like to the team, I was like, whoever gets the last has to like mouth off the whole team or some shit like that. And so everyone was like scrambling to like get it. I was like cracking up. So like we had to sort of inside joke like whoever gets the last has to like mouth the whole team. And then I think Callum got it last. But Newey's filming that like by a cargo container down there. And then so that was such a cool spot, that one. I'd love to go back to that. That was in San Diego. Yeah, so cool. That's the spot that.
Was this the Ben spot that he talked about?
Yeah, so he tried to I think he tried to front Unity or back Unity I think it was front Unity because it fucking twisted him up yuck ass. But I was getting so close to the end of that, but I just couldn't hold on. That was right after Blade Cup too. Like we went to Blade Cup and then left and went straight to that spot. And then a little bit over from there is a kink row, and Tim went off on his own to jam it, I guess, before winning the clip, and he fucking got smoked and came back with nearly a broken hand, poor fella. Yeah, that spot took him out hard. And then that spot took Tim out and Buddy Ben. And you can see Gib in the background there. Isaac did a sick ass trick on that ledge that's next to me. I think
that thing.
Yeah, I think he did a porn star variation on or some shit, and he came back onto the ledge and 360'd off or something.
Shit.
Yeah, something crazy though. He's so good.
He is so good.
Yeah, but I couldn't get to the end. But cool. That was. Yeah, I'm so stoked I got to go there, man. So I can't remember if that's the first or second time I went there, but one of the times I went there and there were no shit 200 BMXs there for a comp. And I just rid up to them all, and I was like, yo, I'm from New Zealand, bro. Can I just quickly get a trick on this thing? And they're like, oh yeah, bro, get that shit. And I just I 180'd over the rail to the flat, just to get something, because I was just I have to get something because I'm here, this is such an iconic spot. And I'm glad I did because it's gone now. But yeah, it's straight up rocked up there, man, and there were just BMXs everywhere. But I think that might be a different time from when we went, but. Yeah, I just got a 180 over the rail just to get something because we were trashed. That was a lot of skating that day.
Oh, it's a pretty sick spot.
Yeah, glad I got to go there. Very smelly. Yeah, I'm goofing. I've never seen that many bladers before because that was 2017 when we stayed in New York and we went to the Boshi Poke comp. And I was just flexing hard that day. I had no shirt on all day. I got to meet Alex Broskow in person for the first time that day too, and got photos with him and shit. That was cool. I got to I just met people. Some people they knew who I was because of Brandon's channel and stuff like that. That was pretty cool, and just met heaps of people. That was a mean day. I remember this dude, one of that overpass where those big massive pillar things are, the bridge up there with someone threw something off and it hit some dude in the eye. It was like a can or some shit. It was fucking scary, man.
Shit.
Yeah, it was gnarly. And then they filmed like a rap video. They both filmed like a video clip for one of his songs, like with all the hype after the comp there too. It was pretty gnarly.
The Stoke certainly looks really
we got off there like we were like caught like an Uber or a taxi there or some shit. And when we went to get out, the guy was like, "Are you sure you just want to get out here?" And we're like, "Yeah, bro." And he's just like, "Okay, like be careful." Because it's like a hood ass area, you know, like real hood. And like here's us walking around like it's all good.
Okay. Who's this fella?
There you go, man. Yeah. That was sick. So like, yeah, man, that was cool. Because when he was skating the comp, he just like come over to me during the middle of the comp. He was like, "What's up, dude?" And I was just like, "Oh, hell yeah, Alex, what up, man? Like, fucking killing it, bro." And then when the comp was ended, I was just like, "Bro, can I get a photo of you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I got a couple of photos, and then Gibbs was like, "Oh, I want a photo too." And then got that one and stuck in there. But yeah, that was cool, man. That's like, you know, like, you know, people say like, "Don't meet your heroes," blah, 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 and all that shit. I was like, fuck, that was me. Like, that was cool. Very stoked I got to do that. And try to like, I held back the how much I wanted to goof off. As
That's super rad. I might have just spoiled this next one, but I thought this was funny.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Best. I call him, instead of photo bomber, I call him photo bomber. That's so good. So that's a Les Parquet, in New York. I don't even think he skated it because he hates skate parks. But I was just like, yeah, let me take a photo. And then he did that. I got another one that he did that where we're in like a New York subway and him and Phil, I think, are in the background and they've got their bums out as well. But I love how he does that in all the photos. Like, he's like all these serious people and whatever. And he's just got his bum out. He's the man for doing that shit.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it too many times.
So this is an upper half. So this is fully ripped away now. So that's a MBD and will never get done again ever. I wish I put a ply board down to land on, but that was very like off the whim because there's crusty ass skate parks there. But I remember, Dix did this. Shout out Dix for doing that. Because this is like heaps of people know me because of this. Because anyone who's from Upper Hutt say, "You're that fucking guy that grinded the slide." That's crazy. But yeah, I soul grinded it too at first, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll try a cone grind." I got smoked a couple times because there's nothing to really land on. I don't even know why I did it.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's lots of opportunity to like wreck yourself doing that.
Yeah, I just remember that setup being real good too. That was the best my shadow's ever felt in my life. And just dressing like that, I feel cool. So I was like, I'll just try saying sick. Sometimes when I feel cool about my look, we're like, "Oh, I'll skate cool to that," some shit. So different. So yeah.
That sounds like a really corny thing to say, but it is so true.
It's so true.
Oh yeah, I say to people, what is it? If I look good, I feel good. If I feel good, I skate good. Like, yeah, that was one of those days.
No, that was pretty rad. And you went off the kink at the end, off the flat?
Yeah, read the whole thing off, and then just somehow managed to land in the bark and not get smoked.
Fuck, that's
I was on that day.
You got to go through the kink. If there's a kink there, you got to go through it.
You got to ride the deck, ding, off the edge.
Yeah.
Or it don't count, apparently.
Yeah.
Are you all good if I move on to some of these questions from people on Instagram, Joss?
My list is pretty much empty.
Okay, so I have, I'll just go through them, so it might be a bit slow. So Xander asked what your death row meal would be.
Oh, shit. My death row meal. Damn it.
Obviously, you haven't thought about what day you're going to die.
Probably a type of pizza or a noodle meal. I fucking love noodles and I love pizza. Be one of those two things. I'm very on the spot, damn it. I wish I could give a definitive answer. You
really should have thought about this kind of stuff, Ryan.
Yeah, everyone should know.
Damn, yeah, hard out. Damn it.
So we had the next one, two people asked a similar or same question. So we had Saul and Style God Kerry. Both asked about how you maintain your luscious locks.
I don't wash it. That's the key.
What?
I wet it, but never like shampoo it or like conditioner if you can help it. Never do it. There's like dreads in there and shit.
It's a high five. Never wash your hair.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Like, yeah, to having sick looking hair. Yeah. I think that's the key, really.
And then Meat asked, how much of an influence do you think getting down with Atua had on your skating?
Oh, massively. I couldn't even imagine. I'd still be like way more on my nerd shit. Put it that way. I'd still be pretty timid, I think, too. Like very reserved, way more timid, and probably wouldn't have such a cool facade. Those dudes give me like, that like, yeah, I can walk around with my chest on. Because a lot of that comes from those dudes, and they know it too. I tell them all the time. I would be half the man I am today without that.
Sweet. Oh, Tom Schofield also says, do you miss Jardos, and when are you going to Australia for a mish?
No, I don't really miss Shadows now because when I think about it, they're so bulky and clanky, and I always had drama with the straps, and I was worried about getting parts and shit peeling and tearing and breaking, and I always used to crack the cuff constantly. In terms of Aussie, I don't know. I don't really have the desire to go there. I'd probably go there with my girlfriend because she's got heaps of friends and stuff over there.
Yeah.
Or maybe if like the boys organize something, but I don't know. I'm not too concerned about going there, to be honest, but I would go there. But it would be cool. It'd be cool, especially knowing that there's like homies over there and shit to skate with and catch up with. But yeah, I'm more interested in going back to like the States or Europe, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, Jago and Ben had the same question. They wanted to know about your first experience with a dab pen.
Oh shit!
Oh, and Callum asked the same thing.
Yes. I just remember huffing the shit of it out front of the shop, and then the lady was like, "Oh, you can't actually do that out here. You got to go into the car yard, into the car park." But yeah, they're wild, man. I remember like choking my lungs out on our hotel, the top floor where you can go up and smoke and all that shit. And I remember we like met a Kiwi girl and like an American guy that were a couple. And I remember like hitting it and like crying out of my eyes and yeah, those things are stupid strong, man. Like you get the little like 200 hooners, like 200 hits. Yeah, they're real powerful. Loved it though.
And then Callum also asked, what's your favourite story from one of your trips?
Ooh, favourite story from one of my trips. Oh, someone like blocked. So we stayed in a place. There's like a toilet downstairs and a toilet upstairs, and someone blocked the like top one up to the point where like it wouldn't flush or something, and there was just like poo water everywhere. And eventually, I can't remember if it like started to come out of the bathtub or something, but like they had to like, I remember the boys like, because they had to get rid of it because we were leaving the next day and flying back home. And I remember like they legit had to like get like cups and like scoop this poo water and like migrate it like down to a sink or into a bath or something like that. It was so gnarly. Like, I can't believe it happened right on the last day. Like that was insane. Yeah, Isaac was not stoked because his name was on the fucking like I booked this shit. Yeah, oh my god. And we had no dramas on that trip until that, apart from Ben getting hurt, but like until that last bit, like, no like, oh fucking hell, you fucking egg, type shit. And then right on that last day, yeah, someone just like blocked the lil up and just like all this weird poo water was everywhere. It was gnarly. That's
why I will never ever put my credit card down on a skate trip ever again.
Yeah. Shout out Isaac for always fronting on that end. Yeah, that was gnarly. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Ooh. But yeah, other than that was crazy. I wish these were there. He's little fucking cracked up.
Should we call the next guest Joss and then do some shout outs?
Yeah. Have we got someone lined up?
Yep.
Because if you didn't, I was going to say maybe like Ryan could like choose the next guest, but if we've lined someone up, we better call them.
I'll call them now. So Ghetto Styles on speaker. Hopefully they answer to and don't do a jargo on us.
No, they are.
Got it.
Hey, Kelvin.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good, bro. You?
I'm good. You just got Joss and Slug Lord here.
Hey, Calvin.
Hey, man.
How's everyone?
It's City.
Good, man.
Yeah, dope.
Hey, we just wanted to ask you if you wanted to be our next guest on the Shodcast.
I would be honored.
Rad.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
All right, so let's get going. We'll start asking you some questions now.
You keen to go now?
Right now?
No.
Where's Tricky?
No. We'll jack it up and do it another stage at some stage next week and try to work around kids' schedules and Lifeaway and we'll try to jack it up.
Mean. I'll have to download. What do you guys use?
Oh, Zoom. Yeah, if you're doing it on your laptop, you don't need to, but we can talk about that later.
All right, sweet as.
Our technical department will call you and discuss the waivers, and you have to sign your rights away to us.
The not so technical department.
Yeah. Weird one.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, sweet, man. Cool. All
Thank
right,
you,
we'll
Brian.
chat soon.
Hey, Calvin.
Legends.
Later, Calvin. Thanks for staying awake.
That's all good. Cheers.
See ya.
Soup.
That's that.
Done.
Yeah, Calvin. Calvin's the man. He's doing big things for New Zealand, full blading and having that shot, man.
Yeah, it definitely is.
He's kind of going to be like the first. He's kind of going to be like the first industry kind of person we're going to talk to. There's some other people on the list, but he seemed like a sensible go-to after you.
Yes. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So good talking to you, man. Like it was real good. Like I was kind of a little bit apprehensive about jumping ahead to new school. I'm not calling it new school,
Yeah.
but you know.
Yeah.
Real cool. Real good to talk to you.
Yeah, you guys too. So hopefully we can meet up in person soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a real good.
Yeah, well, like you say, yeah, the community thing, man, like kind of getting everyone together would be pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think
Sweet.
it's necessary.
Definitely.
All right, bro, keep doing what you're doing because it's real good.
Yeah, thank you. You guys too. This podcast is awesome. I'm so stoked that you started doing this. This is good for the scene too. Like this is fucking bang on of what to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
All right, bro.
All right, guys. See you later.
Cheers, Ryan. See you later.
Ryan.
See ya. It stopped recording.
Parents are very strict. Where you going with those skates? Wear your helmet. Are you doing that too? Are you jumping on those banisters?